this is a good way. This is a good way I could describe it for you for what you're saying, because this is what I want people to really like sort of think about when they think of tokenizing something. Anything, anything, anything at all, in any regards, anything that can be used in a unit of account or being used as the base of a unit of account can be tokenized.
Hey everyone, it's Fiktxun Crypto back at it again with another video. Today we're going to be recapping a conversation I had with Quincy Jones a couple of days ago. I think it was on April 28th, actually, when he published this article on Medium, excuse me, about the commodification of data with the XCC network, and just we had a real general talk about commodification of data in general, different types of industries. I have some crazy ideas in this network in this industry that I want to implement myself. So it was really cool being able to talk to somebody like Quincy, somebody that has knowledge as much as him, and how he's able to just explain things in a way that sounds, I mean, it is super duper complicated, but like he makes it simple. It's like a super duper complicated simplicity explanation, and he knows how to do it. He's like a poet at this, and it's really cool. So we're gonna read over some of this article real quick. We just had a conversation about just some different industries that are in this field that are really not here yet, not available yet, because the whole tokenization of data is the concept of it actually is not all the way there for people, and I'm all the way past crypto prices. I think crypto prices distract people from the technology, and something I fell in love with was the technology. I love crypto prices going to the moon, and being able to take profit on certain types of trade. Who doesn't love that? But me personally, I've always been someone that had a knack for technology and trying to figure out how to use technology in a certain way to do a whole lot of things. I feel like crypto gives us the opportunity, or just blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology in general, gives us the opportunity to make life changing applications and what I would call is super dapps. So let's get into this. And I will have this link in the description for everybody. We're just going to read over a couple of paragraphs, some things that I wanted to highlight. He says, there's a general assumption that all blockchains are public, despite the fact that we have some private and hybrid capabilities with different blockchains. Like right now, we talk about the XRP ledger on our channel a lot, and the XRP ledger is actually a private and a public blockchain. So you can call that a hybrid of these two types of networks on one chain. Is really cool because we don't get to see exactly everything that happens on the XRP ledger, but we do hear words of potentially that public and that private network merging one day. He said blockchains like XDC, Quorum, Corda, and Hyperledger have the ability to share private information, resulting in dynamically different markets than you would have from traditional public blockchains. This opens up the commodification of data provided by dApps and tokenizing the right of private information. And I mean, it's so hard to kind of explain this, why I believe data and tokenizing data is far more valuable than monetary gains on crypto, monetary systems that believe, hey, put all your money right here and then the price is going to go up. No, everything we do is data. This is data right here. You're learning something, you're getting a message from this. I'm sending the message and somebody is on the receiving end. Every time I type something on the internet and I push enter, send, go to the next page, go back, all of this is data that we are using, and we are not making a single penny from it. And it also gives us a new type of structure that we really haven't seen before with actually any technology outside of if you were a developer on web 2 and you had these you had the lead in the race, basically being a designer, web designer, a coder, or anything like that. Now, what blockchain technology gives us is a lot of open source technology. I mean, you can literally go on GitHub and find every single thing you need for free. It is crazy what you can find on GitHub. Let me read a little bit more of this. He says the simplest form of data commodification that we'll see in the future may be locking up personal information in a contract with a token showing who the information belongs to, like an ID or a passport. So when people think about a token, they think about, first of all, they think about a coin, a digital or a physical coin. When I think about a token, just off the top of my head, I think about a gold coin. I don't know why that just goes like that, but that is how my mind thinks. And when we talk about a token, these tokens are more than just a piece of monetary value. This is data that is valued on a blockchain, and that value, you have the power now with this value, and you can use this value, your data, however you want to use it. You can actually sell it, you can upload it to the blockchain. Like I said, you can sell it, you can lend it out, you can put it in escrows, you can put it in smart contracts. You can do so much with your data now. It's really crazy. And you're going to start seeing data DAOs. Like, I mean, I know I'm just throwing that out here, but just imagine a pool of data that you have your information, and say for instance, Google wants your information, and you can literally tokenize your data in a token, and the more data you upload to it, the more valuable the token is, because this is why I believe how blockchains work. I believe the more data you upload to your to a chain, the more valuable it is going to be, because essentially blockchains are a huge data base. And if your blockchain is not pushing that data is the most important thing, I'm pretty sure you're in the wrong type of market. You're in the wrong place. I'm not going to really say that, this is not financial advice, but I would be looking for networks that are looking to transfer values of data. I mean, you can go in a library and you can tokenize a book, and you can upload that book to the blockchain. And when you do that, we have forms of different types of data, like mutable data, immutable data. And the thing about blockchain is you have immutable data that will always stay there. It cannot be destroyed, it cannot be altered. Well, it could be destroyed if you have backdoors and everything. Like, every blockchain has a backdoor. It has to have a backdoor. I don't care what anybody says, it has to have a backdoor. But if everything's working how it's supposed to be working, the backdoor does not get um entered. And and the network keeps working how it's supposed to work. So you see that Quincy really has a great understanding of how to utilize this technology in the form of data transfer. And this is something that I'm starting to understand more and more as the time goes on. Hey, why are people pumping, telling people to put more money into this, hold this, hold that? And the token doesn't have too much data outside of when you bought it, how much it was, what time that trade was executed, and so on. Really, actually, it's not even so on and so on, because now, like, tokens on the XRP ledger, you really don't get a whole lot of information. You really can't send a whole lot of information or upload a whole lot of information to the chain. And that is why I believe some of these chains prices are so cheap. The network, the database is not valued how it's supposed to be valued, because it's not enough data on there. So enough of me talking. Let's read some more of this. He said that one way of doing this through a simple smart contract. In fact, I shared the code for this sort of contract on the XDC network in a previous post. Managing a digital document is no different than holding your information on your computer, your phone, or simply a piece of paper. But a smart contract can automate the regulation of the document for greater security. And when he says that, this is just meaning like you can go in and code your document to release to certain people, certain addresses, at a certain time. Just imagine having smart contract homeworks. in college. Instead of you rushing to your computer and trying to smash it in, turn it in, and send in a email and blah blah blah, all this, you literally can put your homework on the chain in a smart contract, tell it what time it needs to be turned in before this, the deadline, this, and that. And it literally goes to the wallet to your teacher itself. I mean, I've never heard of this in blockchain, so I probably just gave somebody a bajillion-dollar idea right there. So hey, take it if you wanted to. Hey, I can't make everything myself, but this is why this technology literally blows my freaking mind. I mean, this is something we have never seen before. And I don't. I mean, I can this is something I've never seen before. And this is why I literally stopped doing everything I was doing and I started to focus on crypto blockchain technology. I've only been in this space for about 18 to 19 months. I never knew what money was. I never knew what Bitcoin was before October 2020. And when I say I figured a lot of stuff out, I don't have it all figured out, but I have a lot of things figured out in this space. And I mean, it just blows me away at people trying to, and no doubt talking to people who are in it for like monetary gain, because you will, some of these chains you will win, some you will lose. And this is not financial advice. It just blows me away at how people believe that simply adding money to the network is going to grow the network. And I don't believe that things should work like that. That actually sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me. But I understand now, if these networks have more data, they're more valuable, because data is essentially the most valuable thing on earth. Without data, we can't communicate. We can't figure out how to communicate. We can't go to the library and read a book, check out a book, keep track of where that book, who checked out the book. I mean, this is literally crazy what data is. Data is everything, and data is, I mean, it is the powering source of blockchain technology. I get so excited talking about this stuff. And I mean, hopefully, I can sharpen up my skills. Not hopefully, I will sharpen up my skills, because I'm learning how to code. I need to figure out how to code to make applications now. And this is something that I'm doing every day. So, I mean, man, Quincy, shout out to you for this very, very well thought out article right here. I know I kind of said I was going to read a little bit of it, but I mean, I got excited myself too, and I like to talk as well. And I mean, if you want to read this, it's a 4-minute read. You see right here. I will put this in the link in the description. Now, let's get over to some of these clips so you can hear Quincy and I talk about this data commodification and data transfers. I mean, he really, really, really went in on it.
To speak.
Hey, how you all doing?
There we go. Good. How you doing? Thanks for joining. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm in my truck right now, so you may hear like a little noise in the background, but it's an honor being able to be in this room and speak with everyone, especially Quincy. You're somebody that is an inspiration to, just younger African American males. Being able to see you speak, I mean, just being able to see you speak on YouTube and how passionate you are about this technology literally has changed my life. So I've been in crypto for about only a year and a half, and it's not like I'm not rich or anything or nothing like that. I'm actually chilling in my van, like this is my lifestyle right now. But what you just said about the micro transactions or the micro payment is something I'm trying to develop application for across every blockchain, because we see we're in this field where we can use like industries with high volume transactions. And the industry that I want to really work with is communication, because every day it is literally millions, billions, trillions of different forms of communication that is being spread out or transacted across the internet. And I want to figure out a way to kind of, well, I got, talking and texting, I got that part down pat, but more so like when we type in something on the internet, to me that's another form of communication. And I want to work with the XDC network to try to build an application on there, but I would need to find a start. So if there's any possible way I could like DM you and talk about this a little bit later, a little bit more in detail, that would be really, really cool. I know you're kind of busy and everything, but
I don't know about that, but in terms of, I liked where you were going with like exactly what you were saying with engaging with different applicate or engaging with different things on the internet is a form of communication, and that's actually like the article I wrote today about or published today about the commodifying data. That is exactly that. Whenever you engage with any piece of data online, because in order to save that data to the blockchain, there is some fee to it, and being able to access that data can be restricted based off permissions. Any single engagement you have with anything online, especially on any of these blockchains, could be considered the commodification of data. Essentially the scarcity value would come down to the ability to maintain that data private. But with that, you essentially allow the entire internet to essentially be commodified in some way or another, just based off of user engagement of different applications of any application. And the thing when I say any application, I literally mean any application. Like when you were saying like messaging is a form of communication, like text. Well, imagine if there was a texting application that resided on the blockchain, and people like it because it's censorship proof and it's actually private in terms of not having third parties essentially breaching that, and high security because of that. Well, what if there was essentially a micro payment engagement fee for just essentially getting the value of private communications in that regard? And that is essentially just a very popular application just because it's a simple application with a very effective use case. And that in itself is commodifying the data, and that's thing, even if that data is entirely privately hosted and privately acted upon, the mere fact that there's essentially a cost to engage with it allows for the entire internet to be commodified in some way or another, simply based off the engagements of any user with any dApp.
thank you for that answer. Yeah, you see where I'm kind of the direction I'm kind of going into. And I was watching a live off your YouTube a little bit ago, and you say you're going to introduce people, or I guess show people how to create an application on the XTC network. So I'm looking forward to that because I believe that we will see a push for blockchains with higher transactions per second. And when we talk about communications, in that field, I'm gonna be needing a lot of it's gonna require a lot of transactions, and I'm gonna be looking for networks that can handle hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. So you definitely are kind of hitting the head on the nail on the head with that one right there. So thank you for that explanation.
Yeah, thank you for chiming in. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Quincy. You're inspiration, man. For real. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely liked where that was going, because that's actually like one of the biggest points I want to like hammer into, just because of like different private networks and hybrid networks, and being able to commodify that data with the scarcity of privacy. Because obviously the public networks, you can just query the entirety of the public network, but even then there's a value in that, because now there's essentially a public database of essentially all these different records that people can essentially be able to run analysis on, and have a bunch of different means of being able to do that. But with being able to tokenize private data, and being able to tokenize applications with that data, and being able to tokenize engagements of those applications to have access to that data, or at the very least have privileges to that data, is literally the internet right now. It's literally the internet. Every application that you use operates within that principle. The only difference is it's running on a third-party server where they're flipping the bill rather than you just paying for the execution cost to print it on the blockchain.
Right. Yeah, and I think sometimes, like when I try to explain some of these things, I mean, I can't really get into as much depth as you can on these, but when I try to explain stuff like this to family members or friends, they always say, well, it sounds like too much going on. It sounds like a headache. Like, why would you go through all these steps and do all this stuff? And it's like, yeah, but when you build an application, or you use an app on your phone, or you use something on your computer, you don't think of all these things that are going on in the background, right? It just like works. Like, these are all things that would be like happening, in the background. It's not stuff that you would have to actually do step by step on your own to actually take advantage of this solution, you know?
Yeah, I think that's sort of like, I call it like the magic of the internet, where everything online just works, and when it doesn't, it's sort of like a weird, like, it's a weird response, you know, like you get sort of like mad in a sense, where it's like, why won't this work? But yeah, the general expectation of how you interact with any application of any kind in any regard. This goes from your phone, your computer, interacting with different websites, interacting with your car, any electronics, everything. There's sort of a general expectation of it just works, and anything that I need to think about it more is essentially unnecessary. So like it's the same thing here, except it just sounds more complicated because it's.
Right.
I think really what it is, because I don't think it is more complicated. I think it sort of creates this weird intersection between finance and technology that didn't really exist before.
Yeah.
And I actually used to make the joke all the time. So when I was in high school, I actually wanted to get into like sort of like get into banking and trading in that regard. And then I wanted to get more into automated trading when I got more into programming. But there was sort of this joke that I always used to make where I was like, yeah, like everything is like essentially like running on a series of like back-end engineers. And, you know, you may look at the bank and go, yeah, there are a bunch of bankers that run the bank, but I guarantee there are probably more people running like those back-end servers, you know, outnumbering them 10-1 for the, you know, back-end engineers for the bankers, just because, you know, there are these tech companies that are managing essentially banking in a sense. And everything is technology, but we don't really look at it that way. We kind of just look at, oh, it does the thing and it does it in this way. And the thing about blockchain is it actually simplifies it, makes it a lot easier to run these different applications. It's just, I don't think people are regularly exposed
the concept of it. Yeah. Or
yeah, I'm actually chilling.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a couple more questions in.
Hello, I have one more question. Just something about tokenizing a certain industry, or really just something we do every day. I was thinking possibly, do you all think it may be even possible to tokenize the mileage that we drive, like every single mile that we drive for on the roads or anything like that?
I mean, definitely, like blockchain technology, you can transmit data and transactions in real time pretty much. So
okay, because
yeah, so this is a good way I could describe it for you for what you're saying, because this is what I want people to really like sort of think about when they think of tokenizing something. Anything at all, in any regards, anything that can be used in a unit of account or being used as the base of a unit of account can be tokenized, and the token is just representing the accounting of that object, of whatever it is. So if it's miles, you may generate a token for every mile, and then that token is representing essentially just representing a mile in terms of accounting based on how the contract's, you know, looking at it. And it can be for anything. So if you're running a restaurant and, you know, you had tokenized all the food, it's just keeping track of all the food. It's essentially a tag representing and it's saying, the reason I sort of equate these to like the piece of paper, and it's really the accounting of anything, but in terms of anything sort of legal, or in terms of anything sort of like, you know, structured like a contract or whatever, anything that can correspond to a piece of paper or a document of a piece of paper is the same sort of idea. It's just that needs an extra layer of recognition to recognize that document. But hypothetically, anything that's used as a means of account can be tokenized just because you're just using that token as a means to keep account.
Good question. I think we got another one here.
And I appreciate him for allowing me to have the time to speak with him in his group chat, or Twitter space, actually. I mean, Quincy, I'm waiting on that video as far as how to make applications on the XCC network, because I want to build, man. I want to build on these networks. I want to figure out how to do this. This is my first year coding. I've never picked up a computer really before I learned how to get on crypto, you know, and start learning about this technology. So, man, thank you so much. Let's get into it.